participating in my little interview.
Nice, thank you. Thank you for inviting me for this talk as well.
So, can you first of all tell me a bit about yourself?
Nice. Well, my name is Bruno Diniz. I work in the Fintech segment here in Brazil, but much more focused on consultancy side. I have a consultancy firm called Spiraland. We basically are focused on innovation consultancy for big financial firms. So we work with some big players from the financial sector here, organizing hackathons and challenges for them. And we also work with some governmental bodies. So we do this consultancy job also for these governmental bodies on matchmaking services across Europe and Brazil, and also North America and Brazil and Asia as well. And I came from a banking background, so I used to work in investment banks in Brazil for about 7 years. And since 2015, I've been working only with fintech companies here. And I also I am the president of the Brazilian Fintech Committee at the Brazilian Startup Association. And I also do a lot of talks about fintechs and sell a little bit of Brazil out there in other countries.
So you really have a strong foot in the fintech sector here.
Sure, yeah.
All over the place.
Thank you. Organizing events as well. That's the one that you also participate.
Oh yeah, that was a great event.
Yeah, sure.
So best regards to Rino Borini to Switzerland. He's the guy organizing all the big fintechs event. It was the first one.
Oh, nice.
And he does it very well, but it was the same quality here. So
hope to see you guys in Switzerland.
Brazil can do it too, Rino.
Oh, great. We do some good events here as well.
Yeah.
No, you participated.
Yeah, exactly. That was why it was
amazing.
No. Talking of fintech companies, what three most important fintech companies come to your mind when we talk about Brazil?
Sure. Here in Brazil, we got these three huge fintech companies. They attract a lot of venture capital money. One is Nubank. It's a large fintech here. They basically started as a credit card that you can manage it all through the cell phone, through an app. And then they are evolving now to a current account. So basically, they are a case because they attracted money from Sequoia in the beginning, and then Kazakh Ventures and many other huge VCs, just like DST Global. And they deliver a best class experience on their product. So they got a legion of fans from their product. It's a very interesting case. The other one is Guia Bolso. Guia Bolso is a company is like a personal financial manager, but the good thing is they integrate all the different accounts you have in different banks, and they put that in only one dashboard, so you can have a full view of your investments, of how you're spending money, and they help you to save money and compare you to all the other users of the app. So it's gamificate a little bit of this experience. And the third one is Creditas. Creditas is a company that is focused on collateralized loans. So basically, you can go online and get a loan out of your car and out of your house. And it's today it's very hard to do that on the usual banks and the bank branches, and so they automated all this process and deliver also a very interesting, very good experience on making these loans online. So those are the three best cases here in Brazil right now.
Now, if you have a bit of broader look at the Brazilian fintech scene, which sectors are the strongest? Which areas are moving really hot?
Well, we have a lot of initiatives in payments here in Brazil. We have very active space on that, so many different solutions. But there's another one that is increasing, which is the lending sector. So many different companies that do online lending are popping up here. And also the government, the central bank here in Brazil is starting regulating this ecosystem. But I see a lot of potential as well in solutions that are focused on that got like a financial inclusion look. So we have a very huge space for that here in Brazil, and also solutions that are focused on SMEs, small and medium enterprises. It's a space that a lot of companies have a difficulty on accessing capital, also to have a good experience on banking in general. So there are some solutions that are popping up and happening here. I think those are two very interesting spaces that we have here as well.
So you mentioned 3 companies, 3 fintechs who made it. So how is the market in general here in Brazil? Is it easy to make it in Brazil, or what are the challenges of the Brazilian fintech markets as a for fintech startup?
Well, I believe that it used to be harder before, but I think that here in Brazil we have a lot of different corporate programs as well. So if you came from the financial market, so if you have a good idea, there are so many different places and companies, financial institutions to support that. With in some cases even with equity. I think that we got the regulatory space that is changing, is being formed right now, because sometimes for the entrepreneurs to operate, you get to have a certain level of certainty of your operations, what you're doing, if it's regulated or not. So it's something that is going to happen as well. But I believe that some entrepreneurs, they said that there's a little bit lack of capital availability. I don't believe that. I think that looking at the VC side is much more about the projects. They really want to see this very nice and good projects. But I think the main difficulty right now would be, I think regulation would be one of them. But so far, I think many of the guys that are around are doing well. But we have a long way to go, and have to do all the fundraising process and things like that. So they're all hustling right now.
But that's interesting, because that's my experience, my feeling as well in Switzerland. It's at the end. In the end of the day, it's not the missing money.
Yeah.
So if I see startups, fintech startups, if they have a good idea, a good plan, a real project, a real product with a great team, they get funding.
Sure. It ain't easy, because especially in Brazil, because we have the huge financial institutions, a lot of competition when you think about that. But there's a space right now. I think that with the fintech advent that happens from 2008 until now all over the world, and here in Brazil specifically, most of the fintech companies they really started in 2013, something like that. But like 60% of all the fintechs in Brazil just appeared in about 2.5 years. So it's pretty new, but it's a window of opportunity in many places, and also here in Brazil. And there are some good fintechs that are taking advantage of that and really establishing themselves. And from Bitcoin exchanges to companies focused on online lending, they're taking advantage on that. But in some markets we're gonna have just a few guys that are going to perform very well, and the other ones that are just trying to enter that and maybe won't be around in about 1 year and a year and a half. So it's very ever-changing and very competitive market as well.
And what do you believe more? What do you think is the future? Will it be in Brazil more B2B or more B2C?
Well, I see a lot of opportunities on B2B here. I think some fintechs are starting to get that. There are some good ones in B2C, as I mentioned. New Bank is a case, but they can really explore B2B. I think I miss more fintech companies focusing on B2B. There are some, but that's a huge space and lots of opportunity for companies to work on the space.
That's interesting, because obviously in Switzerland I believe very much in B2B or B2B2C, and getting to know Brazil better and better, and having been here for quite some years already, I really believe from outside the view that B2B really can be very interesting,
Sure.
can be very helpful to really move on and get traction for fintech startups here.
And focus on specific niches, because I think there are so many problems to solve. And when you think about this, there are some specific professionals that are coming from the banking, that got a banking background, and they know a lot of stuff and know the problems. They are inside the companies, and they can really help out on doing new solutions for that. So I really believe that that's the thing that those companies happening and appearing in the sector, in the B2B sector, really can take advantage of the opportunities that are out there, for sure.
So Bruno, thank you very much for your answers.
Thanks a lot.
Hope to receive you. Hope to see you soon in Switzerland.
Sure, it'll be a pleasure. And thank you for being here and also to participate in the event.
It was a great pleasure.
And making all those good connections and bridges.
That's all what it's about, that's good connections. It's important in Switzerland, but it's at least as important or more important in Brazil. So happy to be here. I know one thing to say, Brazil is not an easy market, also not in fintech. But what I can say when I'm here, it's every time it's fun. Sure. That is for that I can guarantee.
Esse lugar é o paraíso. Se Deus é brasileiro, o Batu é prova disso. A gente mora onde o mar beija a praia. O verde é mais intenso e o céu é azul de norte a sul. Esse lugar é o paraíso.